Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Dr. Aditya Melti. I got an All India rank of 150 this year in NEET PG 2024, and this is a video on all about BTR. So in this video, we'll try to answer questions like: Is BTR overhyped? Is BTR enough? Difference between BTR users and non-BTR users with respect to their resources, the problems that they face using their resources, how to use BTR properly, and is BTR the only way? So without wasting any further time, at this particular point, I'd like to say that these two questions, the difference between BTR users and non-BTR users and the problems faced by them, and how to use BTR properly are one of the key topics of this video. So please don't skip them. So first questions first, is BTR overhyped? A simple straightforward answer is no. Why no? Because BTR is still one of the most crisp and concise revision resource out there. It's still one of the best revision resource that you can get. But BTR is misused. Now, why is BTR misused? For this, we need to understand why was BTR made initially. BTR was first introduced in 2022. Back then, the main intention of BTR was to act as a revision resource which helped you to remember all the things which needed cramping up a night before exam, all those important things which were very volatile and which we tend to forget. BTR was used to concise those things, those volatile things, into a very small resource for you to be used in last 2 to 3 days. Slowly, students started using BTR as a standalone resource without proper addition of information, without proper annotations from PYQs, grant tests, and custom modules, and slowly the misuse of BTR increased. Now, why am I saying that BTR is a misused resource? Because Zana Bora ma'am herself tells that BTR guarantees approximately 100 to 120 questions directly in exams. The rest 80 questions, or the rest 30 to 40 questions that you need to get correct for a rank under 1000 or under 500, 2-digit rank or a 3-digit rank, you yourself have to secure the information for those 30 to 40 questions. You can only do so by proper annotations from the main resource, from proper additions from the main resource, from proper annotations from the wrong questions that you get in grant test, from your custom modules, and from PYQs. A student has to realize that BTR, despite Zana Bora ma'am adding more and more information in the BTR, it's still a resource which is approximately 500 or 550 pages. It is a very crisp and concise resource. A person who's solely dependent on BTR without any addition from any other resource, without proper annotations from grant tests, custom modules, is still just reading only 500 and 550 pages for 19 subjects. This student would find it very difficult to get a rank below 1000 or a double-digit rank or a triple-digit rank. So this is exactly what happened in Set 2 this year. After Set 2, there was something which was known as BTR backlash. There was intense hate thrown towards Zana Bora ma'am because the Set 2 was a little on trickier side, the Set 2 was a little on difficult side, and most of the questions were not directly from BTR. Approximately 20 to 25 questions were from BTR. All the other questions were a little bit of tricky questions which were not directly from BTR. Now, the students who had their basics right, the students which had their concepts right, and the students which would have properly used that BTR would not have complained after Set 2. But the students who were solely dependent on BTR, who did not properly use their BTR, were the ones complaining and were the ones behind BTR backlash. The one thing which becomes important is to remember that your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. This is important to know because the students who had their basics right, the students which could analyze the questions which were in Set 2, were the ones who actually scored good in this Set 2 of NEET PG. Now, coming to the main topic of this video, the essential difference between BTR users and non-BTR users. Now, currently, at this time, हमारे NEET PG preparation में 2 ही type के students हैं, the ones which are using BTR and the ones जो BTR के अलावा कुछ और use कर रहे हैं, right? The ones which are using BTR and the ones which are not using BTR, which are using some other resources like Marrow, Rapid Revision or Prep Ladder Rapid Revision. Now, इन दोनों के अपने benefits और इन दोनों के अपने disadvantages हैं. The first one are the students which are using some other resources, some large revision resources. इनके पास क्या है? They have large resources to begin with. तो इनका जो gain of confidence होता है वो बहुत slowly होता है. मेरे कहने का क्या मतलब है? What do I mean to say by this is कि इनको ग्रांड टेस्ट में अच्छे मार्क्स लाने में बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इट टुक मी अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 16 ग्रांड टेस्ट टू गेट अ स्कोर अबव 500 plus score. That is because the main reason of us not getting a good rank in grant test or good score in grant test is because we've not properly revised the revision resource. our revision resource is vast enough कि हम उसी को ढंग से रिवाइज नहीं कर पा रहे. दैट इज वाई आर ग्रांड टेस्ट स्कोर इज लेस एंड दैट इज वाई इट टेक्स अस मोर टाइम टू गेट टू अ रिस्पेक्टेबल स्कोर इन ग्रांड टेस्ट बिकॉज वी हैव टू रिवाइज द रिसोर्सेज ट्वाइस और थ्राइस बिफोर गेटिंग अप्रॉक्सिमेटली 500 प्लस. नाउ व्हाट प्रॉब्लम दीज स्टूडेंट्स वुड फेस इज कि सबसे पहले इनकी बेनिफिट्स की बात करते हैं. व्हाट आर द एडवांटेजेस टू दीज स्टूडेंट्स? आई डोंट थिंक देयर वुड बी एनी प्लेट्यू इन दिस स्टूडेंट्स बिकॉज इनकी मेन मिस्टेक ये है कि अपने रिविजन रिसोर्सेज प्रॉपरली यूज नहीं कर पा रहे. सो व्हेन दे हैव डन 2 revisions or 3 revisions properly, their grand test score would keep on increasing. There won't be any plateau in these scores. Okay? And their grand test score would keep on increasing. The main problem that they would face is when the exam would approach, the last week of the exam or the last month of exam, they would have to concise their resource. They would find that it is very difficult to concise their resource because they've always studied from revision resources, which are vast resources. अब आखिरी महीने के अंदर उस resource को इतना छोटा करना. At the same time, there would be other people who would be saying कि मेरे ऑप्शन आएंगे तो 9-10 पन्नों में खत्म हो गए, बायोकेमिस्ट्री के सिर्फ 2 ही पन्ने के नोट्स हैं. And these people would be saying that my biochemistry is 100 pages long, my ऑप्शन is 200 pages long. This is the main problem that these students would face. And the students which are using online BTR, the main advantage of the students which are using online BTR is that Zana Bora ma'am is an expert. Zana Bora ma'am is an expert in schedule. She would give you a proper schedule to follow, which you can follow blindly, and your first read would be complete in a matter of months. Even in matter of, I think so, 45 days or 50 days. She gives a proper schedule. She gives proper motivation. And she herself is an AIMSonian, so there is a increased motivation, and she knows what has to be done for cracking INI set. And other advantages are it is a very small resource to begin with. You can very easily complete your 500 or 550 pages. And after completing those 500 and 550 pages, when you're thorough with those 500 and 550 pages, 500 plus in grand test is a piece of cake. 500 plus or 450 plus for that matter, 450 plus for that matter is a piece of cake for those students who have memorized their entire BTR, who have memorized their base BTR. But a very important problem or a very serious problem that these students would face is that they would plateau very soon. इनके marks 500 and 550 तक तो बहुत easily पहुंच जाएंगे. But breaking that barrier of 550, entering that range of 600 or that range of 550, 570 plus, it would be very difficult. They would very seriously face the problem of plateau. And the main reason for facing this problem is because उनका resource fixed है. They do not have a very vast resource जिसके अंदर कुछ hidden चीजें ऐसी होंगी which they keep on forgetting. They have memorized their entire resource, but still they're just getting 550 plus. This is a very big indication that they need to expand their resource. They need to branch out their BTR. I call this as branching your BTR. You have to branch out your BTR very properly. Now, how to use BTR? Important is कि अगर इन दोनों बच्चों को BTR use करना है, the main reason for these students using BTR is FOMO. कि everybody is doing BTR. अगर वो questions भी मेरे गलत होते हैं which are in BTR, I'll get a very bad rank. So these students suffer from FOMO. So for these students, the best is offline BTR. For example, Delhi में approximately 30 days to 35 days before exam INI set and NEET, there is an offline BTR schedule that the ma'am does. That this offline BTR is one of the best last minute revision resource that can be provided to you. So a good option is for these students to go for offline BTR and use that offline BTR in the last 3 to 4 days. It is approximately 270 to 290 pages, which is very much doable in the last 3 to 4 days, and you will get all the volatile subjects in one place. Now for these students, the students which are using online BTR, an important point is that they have to branch their BTR out. Now how they'll do this? You have to be very thorough with your basic BTR, the one, the 500 or the 550 page BTR that has been given to you for all the 19 subjects. Now you need to find out those specific topics which are important for INI set and those specific topics, या PYTs, which are important for NEET. Now these topics you have to make notes from main videos. Now be very sure that you have to make notes of only the main topics. For example, अगर gynae में infertility or infections important है, you have to make notes for infertility and infections only, and then attach those notes or staple those notes in your main BTR. You have to do all the PYQs and all the information that is missing from your baseline BTR. वैसा ऐसा होता नहीं है, ज़्यादातर the BTR में सारा PYQ और PYTs annotated होते हैं, पहले से ही मैम करके देती हैं आपको, या आप BTR करते करते मैम के साथ कर सकते हैं. But for those PYQs that they miss out, you have to add those PYQs. You have to properly analyze your grand tests. Analysis is very important. I myself did offline BTR because I used Marrow Rapid Revision as my baseline resource. So I did offline BTR, and I actually have to thank BTR for my 750 rank in my first INI set that I gave, because तब तक मेरी first reading ढंग से complete नहीं हो पाई थी, तो I relied very heavily on that BTR to get a 750 rank. बट ये भी बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि मैंने मेन सब्जेक्ट्स उसी टाइम पर ख़त्म किए थे अपने मैरो रैपिड रिवीजन से, जब मैंने उनको BTR से सप्लीमेंट किया था, सो दे यील्डेड अ वेरी हाई रिजल्ट इन माय फर्स्ट INI सेट. और मेरा एक दोस्त था मिहिर संजय गर्ग, he is my friend. He got a rank of I think so 106 in November INI set 2023. I'll put the description of his interview to Zana Bora ma'am in the description. You can go and watch him out. According मैंने जब मिहिर से पूछा था कि how did he use his online BTR, so he was very specific about one fact that he did those specific topics from main videos and he integrated them into BTR, and he very properly analyzed his grand test और जो भी चीज़ें उसकी grand test में गलत हो रही थी. What he told me was कि for example उसका specific example that he gave me was कि उसका इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसपोर्ट चेन का क्वेश्चन लगातार 3 ग्रैंड टेस्ट में गलत हुआ था. तो he came to know that this electron transport chain is his weak topic, and this is also important because this is being repeated in grand test. तो उसने वो electron transport chain main video से करा and he annotated that in his BTR. Finally, he had a BTR which was annotated with all the important topics of INI set from main notes as well as PYQs. So that benefited him a lot. So I'll put a link to his video in the description. You can go and check it out. Now one thing that will come is BTR the only way? The simple answer to this is no. BTR is not the only way. Any person, for example, there is a person who is sitting in some remote areas, वो अपनी पढ़ाई मैरो रैपिड रिवीजन या प्रेप रैपिड रिवीजन से कर रहा है, तो is it very important for him to subscribe to an online BTR, or is it very important for him to come for offline BTR to Delhi or Hyderabad, which is far away from his home, just for the sake of BTR? The answer is no. If he plans his last month very properly, जिसमें अगर if I talk about me personally, I used BTR in the last 7 days for both my INI set, for November INI set as well as May INI set. I got a rank of 750 in November INI set, but I got a rank of 2500 in May INI set. और इसके बाद जो मैंने अपना नीट प्लान किया था, तो मैंने अपने नीट का आखिरी 30 महीने प्लान किए थे, एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम आई डिड नॉट यूज BTR एज माई मेन रिसोर्स. मैंने अपने मैरो रैपिड रिवीजन को ही प्रॉपरली आखिरी के 30 दिन में प्लान किया था. वील मेक अ सेपरेट वीडियो अबाउट हाउ आई प्लान माई लास्ट 30 days बिफोर NEET PG 2024, बट दैट्स अ topic for some other time. But coming back to the topic, BTR is not the only resource which you can depend upon. Marrow rapid revision, prep ladder rapid revision are also one of the outstanding resources that are available. If you properly plan your time, you should be able to complete them in last 1 month. So you need to remember that there is one truth and there are many paths. This is NEET PG 2024. This is you. You can take the route of BTR. You can take the route of marrow rapid revision. You can take the route of prep ladder rapid revision. You'll reach your point properly, but whatever you're doing, you have to be true to yourself. You have to study properly, you have to be dedicated towards your studies, and you have to be consistent. Consistency matters more than anything. And at the last, you have to study with the sole aim of no regret at the end of the day. Thank you.